But the big thing to talk about is the opening series with the Cubs at Wrigley versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Both of our picks to win the NL Central. And in fact, you picked Corbin Burns, I believe, to win the Cy Young for the second year in a row.
That's correct.
I think I had him in the running. I forget who I picked. Shows how much I pay attention to or how much our preseason picks actually matter. But it was a fun podcast to do, so we do it every year. Cubs took care of not only that Cy Young hopeful, they took care of his teammate the next day, Brandon Woodruff, winning the first two games of the series. And really, the Cubs rotation looked far superior to Milwaukee's rotation. Milwaukee actually lost yesterday to the fucking Orioles. I saw 2-0.
Yeah, so I saw some of that game.
They're off to a horrible start.
They sure are.
You know, of course, small sample size, but it's just ironic. The whole reason I'm giving Milwaukee the division is because of their superior pitching staff, and I even derided the Cubs pitching staff as half a major league staff. They basically had 2.5 starters in my mind, and they've been stellar, including Drew Smyly today. They've looked great. So it started with Kyle Hendricks in the opening game. Cubs looked solid the whole day. Game 2 was the interesting one that was going to have lots of conversation, and I'm sure you're going to have some opinions about this as well, because we've talked about these things for a couple of years now, actually. Cubs win in a blowout, 9-0. Unfortunately, in the 8th inning, while they were up 9-0, Ian Happ gets blown up in the knee, hit by pitch. Ended up being the 27th time a Cubs hitter was hit by a Milwaukee pitcher since 2020. And that leads any team hitting one other team specifically by a long shot.
Seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, 27 times in basically not even just over 2 years, 2.5 years. I mean, 2020 was only a half season, not even a half season. So kind of incredible. Part of that is Cubs catcher Wilson Contreras being hit now 14th and 15th time. And that makes up more than half of those. So somehow he is being targeted. Well, he's been hit 60 times in his career. 15 of those have been specifically Milwaukee Brewers pitchers. So a quarter of the times he's been hit were from Milwaukee Brewers pitchers. So this is where I'm pulling a fast one on you. I am going to call Milwaukee Brewers pitchers our asshole of the week. We actually haven't had an asshole of the week for a while, so I thought I'd throw that in there somewhere. Just mainly because
I think five times in one series is excessive. More than worthy of asshole.
I don't think I'm not.
I don't think they're intentional though.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not even calling them assholes because I agree with you. I don't think they're intentionally doing it. I think that's their strategy to go inside. I'm calling them assholes because they're terrible at what they're trying to do.
Well,
if you're that bad, if you can't pitch inside, you need to stop pitching inside.
And that has been my bone of contention with a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. Is that if you don't have the control to be able to consistently pitch inside, then do not call inside pitches. There's too much at risk for a player's career.
They have shown that they can't do it. I mean, they've hit the Cubs 27 times, like I said. But it is strange that it's specifically the Cubs, and I think there might be some nefariousness, if that's a word, to it, because we know there's bad blood in general between the Cubs and Brewers, just because that happens amongst division rivals. But we've seen it specifically from Craig Counsell. I mean, he gets pissed off about rain delays. He's
angry towards the Cubs. It's not like the Cubs.
Yeah, so there's something going on there, and it's impossible to determine intent most of the time.
Well, most of the time, except it's okay for a team to hit your player 5 times. But then when you hit one player, right? Am I right? It's just one player, right? Got hit?
Well,
or is it 2?
I didn't see how many got hit in this series, but the Cubs are. I did mention it's not. I think I misspoke when I said it was 27 was the most by a long shot, because it's not. It's only one more than the Cubs have hit the Brewers. But you could say that because the Cubs have hit Brewers batters 26 times.
Oh, nice how you left that part out.
Well, you could say that it's been retribution for those 27 hits. But
who started it?
Well, that's the eternal question.
Who pushed who first on the playground?
Yeah. Nobody knows. But the MLB discipline offices decided that Keegan Thompson was indeed throwing at Andrew McCutchen on purpose right after Ian Happ was hit. And suspended him for 3 games. They even suspended manager David Ross for 1 game and gave them both fines of undisclosed amounts. Thompson is appealing that, so they'll probably knock it down to 2 or whatever. But he is available for at least today for the Pittsburgh game. But whatever. I do think that he did throw intentionally but he hit him in the butt. It was hit McCutchen in the butt or in the hip maybe, but it wasn't a dangerous thing. And that's where you and I have gone way off the rails in the past about intentionally throwing at people, if that's cool or not. And I specifically am against throwing towards the head or shoulder area. That's where I'm 100% against. I'm not necessarily against throwing in a less dangerous area, especially hitting somebody in the hip or the ass. So I'm not as worried about that, but it has to happen. I feel like that's how players discipline themselves on the field. And I know it's such a weird thing that Major League Baseball gets in the middle of. Like you said, sometimes they determine intent, sometimes they can't figure it out. So leave it up to the players to police, and that's how it usually works. What an interesting twist in all of this is Andrew McCutchen's reaction to it. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, he got fired up.
He knew it was coming, and then he didn't know it was coming because he said it didn't happen on the first pitch of his at-bat. So I didn't know. So this is a whole nother layer to the unwritten rules.
Oh, God.
That we've heard so much about.
I just hope I don't have to deal with an unwritten rule on the South Side this year.
Well, he was ready to be hit. He knew he was going to get hit somehow, but he assumed it was coming on the first pitch.
So when it didn't happen, he became unprepared for it.
Yes. So
that's essentially what he was saying.
That's exactly what he was saying. And that's what made him angry, because it came on the 4th pitch or whatever. It's like, if you're going to hit me on the first pitch. So I think at this point, you're just coming up with reasons to be angry, even though if you know it's going to happen. So I like Andrew McCutchen, actually. I've never had an issue with him before.
I've never had a problem with him. He's a fun guy to watch. He's probably shouldn't be playing too much anymore, but whatever. But
that all led to our favorite phenomenon on a baseball field, the obligatory tickle fight.
Oh, yes.
Bullpen's empty, a lot of talking, a lot of gesturing, a lot of posturing, a lot of bullshit, a lot of macho fake toughness, as everyone comes out and basically has a conversation and tickle each other for a while and then eventually go back to their benches and bullpens. So I need to come up with some sound effects for the tickle fight, I guess, because it's the dumbest thing in baseball. But the worst example is Jason Hayward came out of right field and was just sprinting towards the bench and got all tough and big and macho in front of everybody, and of course nothing came of it. So
Word Hole Media.